Bob Mason from FX Empire. Welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages, and the day's support, resistance, and pivot levels. It's Saturday, the 17th of July. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against US dollar, bearish start to the day. Going to need to see Bitcoin move through the pivot 31,581 to bring the first major resistance level at 32,118 into play. Support from the broader markets can be needed to move back through to 32,000 levels. Barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 32,271 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Bitcoin target 33,500 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 32,808. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 38,991 into play. Barring another extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay clear of sub 30,000 levels. Second major support level at 33,554 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACDs, widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day following yesterday's late bearish cross, supporting that early morning pullback. More significantly, the 50 EMA has started to slide back from the 100 and the 200, supporting further downside ahead. So key would be to move through the pivot at 31,581 and back through to 32,000 levels. Failure to do that and support levels will be in play. Moving across Ethereum against US dollar, it's been a mixed start to the morning. Going to need to see Ethereum move through the pivot at 1898 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 1945. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Ethereum to break back through to 1900 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 1965.35 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Ethereum target second major resistance level at 2013 before any pullback. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 1830 into play. Barring another extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should avoid sub 1700 levels. Second major support level at 1782 should limit the downside. Through the turn of the day, we've seen a widening of the bearish histograms after yesterday's late bearish cross. So that's coming off the back of yesterday's late pullback. So keep an eye out for a further widening. On the EMAs, the 50 has pulled further back from the 100 and the 200, also suggesting further downside ahead. So key would be to move through the pivot at 1898 and back through to 1900 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Litecoin against US dollar, mixed start to the day. Going to need to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 123 to take a run at the first major resistance level 126. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Litecoin to break back through to 125. Barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 127.82 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, could see Litecoin target 135s before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 130. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 118 into play. Barring another extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid sub 110s. Second major support level at 116 should limit the downside. On MACD, similar trend, widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day after yesterday's late bearish cross. So look out for a further widening that will support further downside ahead. More significantly, on the EMAs, the 50 has pulled further back from the 100 and the 200. That's a bearish signal. So key would be to move through the pivot at 123 and back through to 125 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, the support levels will be in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against US dollar, relatively positive start to the day. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 5988 to bring the first major resistance level at 6101 into play. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.60 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 0.61832 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, you should see Ripple's XRP target 0.63 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 0.6296. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 5794 into play. Barring another extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should stay clear of the second major support level at 5681. Looking at the MACDs, a slight narrowing of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day after yesterday's late bearish cross, so keep an eye out for a possible bullish cross through the morning. On the EMAs, however, the 50 has pulled further back from the 100 and the 200. That's a bearish signal, suggesting another day of downside for Ripple's XRP. So key through the early part of the day would be to move through the pivot 5988 and back through to 0.60 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will be in play.